So a little bit about me. I graduated from the University of South Carolina with a business degree. Started my career off in staffing, and that was dealing with hiring, coaching, terminating, building relationship with clients. And from there, I have been with Blue Cross since 2017. Started out as a corporate recruiter, and we realized that we needed a more formal internship program. So in 2019, Angie and I partnered together. As I said, I'm on the corporate side and Angie's on the IT side. And I have led our internship program, our summer interns, and our year-round positions. And we also do grad assistant internships as well.
Okay, and I'm Angie Greenwood. I'm the college recruiter for the IT side of Blue Cross. So I recruit specifically for our summer internship program, as well as an IT training program after graduation. And typically my positions are for like computer science, computer engineering, CIS, MIS, cybersecurity, and math majors. I also graduated from USC with an English degree. I have been recruiting for over 20 years, the last 15 of which have been at Blue Cross, and I have focused on the college recruiting for the last 5 years.
So we'll kind of explain to you today just on how to apply to our positions, kind of go through the process for you. So you'll visit our website at southcarolinablues.com. You'll click on the careers at the bottom. It is going to look like you're trying to apply for insurance. Just go all the way to the bottom, click on careers. If you are new, then you will click here to create a new account and you'll just follow the instructions. If you have logged in previously, you can just log in like you've done before. Once you've uploaded your resume and completed everything, then you can start searching for opportunities. But first, we'll kind of go over preparing your resume before you log in to start applying for positions. These are just some of the tips that we look for. Make sure you've included your name, your email address, phone number, and your LinkedIn page. Under the education, include your college, your major, and if you have a minor, and your anticipated graduation date, just so we can know, we need to know month and year, because that does make a difference when you're applying for our internship positions. And also, if it's applicable and you have a skills section, include all the technologies you've studied or used, such as Excel, SAS, Tableau, anything that you have used in the past.
And I will say too, with the skills section, I talked to some students who are kind of apprehensive about putting a skill that maybe they've only, briefly used in a class or on their own. I encourage you to still put that on your resume because, the managers aren't going to expect you to come in being proficient at it. They know you're a current college student. And, if they do have questions, you can explain in the interview, exactly what your experience level is with it. And you definitely want to include as much as you can that you've used, because some recruiters and companies will do keyword searches on your resume. So, for example, if they're looking for someone who has experience like with Java and Java's not on your resume, then you wouldn't come up in their search. So, when in doubt, put it on there and you can just explain in person or, in an interview what your experience level is with it.
Yeah, perfect. So under work experience, include all the work experience, even if it's not applicable to the job you're applying for. This will show that you might possess the soft skills the manager's looking for.
And so with that, I'm sorry, Paige. With that, having work experience, which I know, being at the Citadel, sometimes you're more limited to, what you can do after school or over the summers. But even if you do, during breaks, do, work at your parents' company or, do anything, or if you did in high school, I do encourage you to include that because it can show that And again, being with the Citadel, you probably already have these soft skills just from attending the school, but you've worked in teams before, you've got customer service skills, you take direction well, those types of things are what, our managers are often looking for in the soft skills. Also, having good communication skills is really important.
Yeah, and I know when you're at the Citadel, you don't have part-time jobs or anything like that. So it's great to include any kind of extracurricular activities, sports, clubs, band, any volunteer experience that you have to show that, you're well-rounded. You're not only just going to school, you also have other things involved in your life.
Okay, and then we did get one question in the chat. Do you typically look for one-page resume or additional pages recommended based on including all work experience? I personally don't care if it's just one page. I think that probably mattered a little bit more when everything was done in person and you were, the recruiter had to scan the resume. But now that everything's, in an email or you're applying in an applicant tracking system, I don't think it's a big deal. I would say, being current college student, it probably, you probably wouldn't have enough experience to go over 2 pages, but I think it's fine if it's over a page.
Yeah, I agree. And I did have a student a couple of weeks ago that I was sitting down and reviewing her resume, and she had 4 pages, and I was trying to figure out why she had so many pages. And she would go home every summer and go back to her summer job and then come here and work during her school. So she was putting that down every step instead of including that all together, listing that as a summer job. So that's the only thing I'd maybe recommend, don't have 4 pages, just kind of group those together. And then lastly, just making sure that you're proofreading, spell check before you submit it. I always get a second set of eyes to look over it, because sometimes I kind of glass over and don't see some of the mistakes. So I always make sure I have someone else look it over for me.
And that's where Paige and the career services team is, really helpful. They're happy, I'm sure, to, help you with your resume and proofread it when, you think it's final. Paige said, yes, Angie.
Okay. So what does the application process look like? So you'll go through southcarolinablues.com like you did to either create your profile or start looking for positions. And when I say create your profile, you can go in there. If you don't want to look for an opportunity until next semester, I would still encourage you to go ahead and create a profile. You can set up alerts where if you're looking for customer service or if you're looking for accounting, you can click on those boxes and it will alert you every time a new opportunity is posted to our website. So that way you can see what we're hiring for. But if you are looking for an opportunity, you're going to go up to come to this page. It's going to show you all the positions that we currently have listed. If you want to drill down from there, you can type in internship in the search bar, and it'll pull up all the internship positions that are currently posted. Mine are currently posted right now. They will be up until the 17th of this month. That's on the corporate side. Angie's side will get posted in January. But if you go and create a profile and you have a computer science background, then, once she gets it posted, you'll be alerted.
And one thing too with our internship positions, they are major specific. So before you apply, you want to make sure that if in the education, it lists a specific degree. If you do not have that degree and it doesn't say, or other, then don't apply to the position. Some are a little bit more flexible, but some are, it might just be accounting. But others do have a little bit more flexibility. So just make sure you pay attention to that before you apply.
And this is what the actual position looks like. So when you're reviewing the position and what the hiring manager is looking for, make sure you tailor your resume to what they're looking for. Like Angie said, a lot of companies have an applicant tracking system that will kick you out if they don't see those keywords. So if we're looking for specific words, then you want to make sure that your resume is tailored, not one size fits all. And so that way we can make sure that you have the experience we're looking for and that you're definitely the best applicant and for us to hire. So this is a little bit more about our summer internship program. It is a 13-week program. It starts May 9th and goes through August the 5th. Like the majority of them are on site in Columbia. After training, some might possibly be remote. It is a paid internship. You're going to walk away with hands-on real-world experience. You'll be assigned to a mentor. You're going to be working with the team. You might be doing projects. You might be doing daily activities, but they're all going to be related to your major. Throughout the 13 weeks, we do have lunch and learns with senior leadership. This kind of gives you an idea of their collegiate path and also their career and where they got them today. We do coffee chats. We do it with social media. Just ask questions about them. How can you hack into social media and how can you use it to your best advantage when you're looking for opportunities? And same with human resources, like any questions you might have on interviewing tips or resume writing, anything like that. And we also do virtual presentations within area managers to learn more about entry-level opportunities and our industry.
With those presentations on the IS side, if you are, either a math major or computer science or IT related major, we do a lot of presentations for our summer interns to tell them about an IT training program that we have every year called ELTP. So this is something that you would apply for your senior year. And it's something that Blue Cross has done for the past 25 years, where in late May of every year, we hire recent, again, computer science, IT related, and math graduates as permanent full-time employees. But you go through an initial 4 to 5 month classroom training that focuses on either application development, support, or infrastructure, just depending on what you're interested in. And then when you're done with the training, then you go to work in the area that hired you. So these are, long-term permanent positions with the company. Again, they are based in Columbia, South Carolina. So you would need to be open to relocation to Columbia, and we do offer relocation assistance. And for the program, those positions, if you are interested, if you do graduate either this December or in May, you would be eligible for the May of 2022 class, and I'm going to post those positions next week. So if you're interested in that, definitely send me an email, and we'll have our email addresses up at the end of the slide. But it's angie.greenwood@bcbssc.com. So you can send me an email, and then I'll send you the link to apply to when I do post the positions.
Great.
Okay.
And
I'm sorry, go ahead, Paige.
And prior to the start date, you must successfully complete pre-employment screenings, which will include background check and a drug screening.
And then one thing too that's advantageous, so I know some Citadel graduates sometimes get a security clearance, and that is something that because Blue Cross, we work on a lot of different government contracts. Some of our areas do require a low-level security clearance, and so if you already have it, that's great, and that can kind of alleviate some of the process at the end where you would have to apply to be able to get the security clearance.
Okay, so what do I do if I get an interview? We strongly suggest that you research the company before you interview, so you know what they do, what that looks like, what the position is going to be entailed, so that way you can tailor your response to the employer and the job. Don't say you want to go into cybersecurity if you're interviewing for a programming position. Don't say you want to go into human resources if you're interviewing for an accounting position. Just make sure that you're tailoring your interview towards the job that you're wanting.
And also not only the job, but also the company. So for example, a couple years ago, I talked to a lot of people who were really interested in game design and development and wanted a career in that, but we're healthcare insurance. We don't, design video games. So just make sure that, you research, what industry they're in, what they do, not just what's on the job description, but the company as a whole as well.
Yeah. And then practice interviewing as much as possible. The more you practice, the more comfortable you'll be and the better you'll do. Again, work with your school career center if you need help with your resume or interviewing. They're a great advocate for you. They're there, so utilize that. I can't see you, Paige.
You said yes, yes, yes.
Okay. And then take notes during the interview, and also, come prepared for questions. We want you to ask. I mean, you're interviewing us just like we're interviewing you. So we want to hear what questions you might have about our company.
And also, before the interview, figure out what's important to you, especially if you're interviewing with several different companies. What's going to make you more interested in one of the opportunities versus another, and ask those questions, because you never know how many rounds of interviews you're going to have. And it could change. You might be told, there's going to be 3, but then it ends up changing and there's really only 1 or 2. So this could be your only opportunity to talk to the hiring manager. So make sure you ask whatever is important to you. If it's, the team environment, the culture, the technologies you'll be using, the opportunities for advancement, that type of thing, make sure you come prepared with that and ask those questions in the interview.
And here are just some recommendations from a recruiter's perspective. Please make sure that your voicemail is set up and not full. There are so many times that I'll call and I'll either get that's not set up, so it's a waste of my time, or I get through the whole spiel and then it tells me it's full and I can't leave a message. So I know that's not the first and foremost way you like to communicate. I do use my personal cell phone to text. Not all recruiters do that, so you can't rely on that. But it just slows us down in the process, and then we have to turn around and either email you or find another route.
Tell
I think someone's unmuted. Can you make sure you mute yourself?
Hey, Nicholas. Nicholas Stallings, if you will please mute yourself. Thank you.
I've done that plenty of times. And also check your email often. We do send out emails directly from ourselves, from our personal, our work email, but then we might also have something come through our applicant tracking system. So it might go to your junk or your spam folder. So just make sure that you're checking your email often, and also your junk or spam folder.
And it's really important to thoroughly read the emails, because some of them might have specific deadlines that you have to meet. And if you don't meet those, you might not be able to be considered for the position. So for example, once you have been hired and you're doing the pre-employment screenings, we have a specific 48-hour window in which you have to complete the drug screening. And if you miss it, you cannot be hired. So, really important to read the emails thoroughly. And then if you have questions, follow up with your recruiter. We did just get a question. What are some tips on setting up our voicemail? Oh, we literally just mean on your cell phone, make it to where you're capable of receiving voicemail messages, because a lot of college students don't even set it up on their cell phones. So, it can just be simple, say your name, please leave a message, and then just make sure that, you check your messages when you get them.
Yeah. And then we also really highly encourage you to have a LinkedIn account. It's free, it's easy, it's a great way for you to build relationships. Even if you don't, you're not looking for a position right now, still connect with Angie and I. And like she said, our LinkedIn is at the end of this presentation, but it just makes it easier. So in a year from now, if you're looking for an opportunity at Blue Cross and Blue Shield, you've already got that connection with us, and it's going to be so much easier for you to reach out to us.
And, the Citadel is so great about making, lifelong connections. So definitely, connect with Paige Tisdale and her team on LinkedIn, as well as, professors that you have. And then, you can start connecting with Citadel alumni who, I think are, probably more likely to try to help you with your, career opportunities in the future. So definitely utilize, everything that the Citadel offers on LinkedIn and, any kind of social media. And Paige did just put in the chat, the Citadel has staff connections on their website for their LinkedIn profile. So definitely take a look at that and connect with them, and, see who they're connected to alumni wise, that, if there's an alumni in an industry that you're interested in, connect with them as well.
Yeah. And then again, when applying for a position, just make sure that your resume reflects the required experience. And this was some recommendation from managers that we've received. They want someone that's hungry to work both smarter and harder than the competition. They need someone who will show up on time or even early, even when times get tough. They want somebody that is not satisfied with the status quo and is willing to recommend continuous improvement. And they want someone that's willing to be a constant student and adaptable to the changes required by the organization or even ever-changing healthcare regulations.
And then another thing that, ties into that is managers really like students who are inquisitive and curious and not afraid to ask questions. So, that's where it's important to come prepared to the interview, ask intelligent questions. And then, once you do get the job, don't be afraid to ask them if you don't understand something that's been assigned to you, ask for details. Don't be afraid of that. And one thing too, I talk to a lot of students who, are kind of scared if they've never interned before or never worked for a corporation before. With our intern, just that, they're not going to be able to perform like the manager wants them to. Keep in mind, especially with internships, as well as most entry-level positions, the managers have had interns before. They're used to it. They know that you're a current college student. They don't expect you to come in and hit the ground running. As Paige mentioned previously, you will be assigned a mentor. It's a very team-oriented environment. So there'll be lots of people that you can ask questions of and get help from.
So what do you do after the interview? Ask for next steps and contact information. Our process is you'll have a recruiter that you'll talk with, and you also will speak with the hiring manager. So you can get both of their contact information. Write down anything you want to remember. That's always helpful, when we always encourage to do a thank you card or email. That way you can refer back to maybe something that stood out, and it makes it more personable, and it shows them that you were listening and you're really invested in our company. Again, connect on social media and continue to job search, even job search within our company or, outside of Blue Cross, but, continue to keep looking out there at other opportunities. And get comfortable with waiting. Our process, once you've gotten selected, we have to submit the approval for the offer. So it has to go up several different chains. That can take a little time. It can be as quick as a day or two. It can also be as long as a week or 2 weeks, and just depending on who all has to approve the offer. So just kind of get comfortable with waiting. And then even if you don't get the job, thank the interviewers for their time and consideration. You never know when your paths might cross down the road. It might have been the best fit for you at this point, but in a year or two, maybe there's an opportunity and you land it with that manager. So just always be thankful and mindful and show them of your appreciation. And that's it. Any questions?
Awesome.
I've got one.
I have a question.
Sure.
No, you can
All
go
right.
first.
Oh, my bad, Jen. I didn't hear you. So you guys talked about one of you. I'm not sure if it was Angie or Paige, or is in the IT field at Blue Cross Blue Shield.
Yes.
So I worked for a company over the summer, and I did IT work, and it was really different than what I was expecting. So what do you guys do, like, as IT there? Because what I did was just
Sure.
lights and stuff. So I'm not sure if y'all's is different or similar.
Yes, that's a great question. So, we're obviously Blue Cross of South Carolina, we're healthcare insurance, but what a lot of people don't realize is how large of an IT shop we have. We typically have about 1,500 people just in the IT division of Blue Cross. And part of the reason that we're so big is because we outsource a lot of our services to other insurance companies, other Blue Cross plans. So we're dealing with a lot more than just our members' data. It's, national data. So with that, we kind of do a little bit of everything from an IT perspective, as do our interns. So we usually have, internship opportunities. Some focus on application development, both mainframe and desktop and web. We also do project management, data analysis, infrastructure, security, kind of a little bit of everything. So for our internships, what I do is after you, Paige mentioned earlier that my internship positions will post in January. So if you're interested, you can use this email address, email me, let me know that you're interested, and I'll send you an email when I post those positions with the link to apply. After you've applied, I'll send some follow-up questions, kind of getting a feel for what areas are most of interest to you. And then I'll schedule a one-on-one conversation with me to go into detail about exactly what the manager's looking for, what you would be doing. Some managers like for their interns to come in knowing certain technologies. So for example, on the application development side, some want you to have some either, hands-on classroom experience or have studied on your own, like Java, JavaScript, HTML, CSS, those types of things. Some are more general where, just having any kind of object-oriented programming experience is sufficient. And then they'll teach you what you need to know once you get there. So you and I would go into detail about the different areas that are hiring. Also, then I'll know which ones are going to be on-site in Columbia versus remote versus kind of a hybrid where, some of the managers might want you in the office a day or two a week just to, work with the team, get that one-on-one hands-on, but then the rest of the time would be remote. So, I can give more information, but just to give you an idea of the different technologies that we use at Blue Cross, some of them, we do Java script, CSS, HTML, Jenkins, Vue, JFrog, JUnit, Node.js, PowerShell, Splunk, Python, GitHub, big Microsoft shop. So Teams, everything with Microsoft Outlook. Microsoft Office. We're an agile environment, SharePoint, Azure DevOps, Trello. We are a huge mainframe shop, so we use COBOL, apps, CICS, DB2, IMS. On the database side, a lot with SQL Server and Oracle. And then on the infrastructure side, Cisco, Windows, Unix, and WebSphere, as well as like Palo Alto, a lot of different cybersecurity things that we do as well. Does that answer your question? So, and with
Yes,
our
ma'am.
interns, that's where you and I would talk one-on-one to figure out what you want to do. And then I would, read to you kind of what the manager anticipates the intern will be doing over the summer to make sure it is something that would be of interest to you.
Cool deal. Thank you, ma'am. That definitely
Sure.
answered my question.
Great. Okay, I think there was another question.
Yes, ma'am, it was me.
Okay.
So I think this question would be more for Ms. Long. So you look at the resumes, right? When they kind of pass through. So
Yes.
I just started doing construction work this past summer, and clearly the skills and kind of leadership stuff is a lot different from y'all's line of work. But if you were looking at a resume right now, what are some of your like must-haves on it that will push you past?
Yeah, so the only requirements is you have to be enrolled in a four-year college and you have to have 12 credit hours within the major. So outside of that, I look at if you did hold a summer position. I'm not looking at, if it's in an office or if it's, outside. It just shows me that you did work over the summer, or if I know you can't have part-time positions, any kind of volunteer work or any clubs that you were involved in. So I'm just looking to see how well-rounded you are and how you're able to handle multiple things at one time. So it just shows me that, you're going to be able to come in and you're going to be able to adapt and be flexible.
And yeah, our managers like people who've worked on a team. So, it would show that you have worked on a team before. And if you don't have hands-on work experience, but you've worked on projects at school with a team, I would put that on your resume as well.
Thank you.
Yeah, Jonah, that's a great question. And Angie and Paige, I'm going to do a quick little follow-up because you're right. Our
Sure.
students can have part-time jobs. They can have internships, but they're very involved in our leadership training program all 4 years. Even if they're not in a leadership role, they're in the program. And so we even have a lot of our resume samples that show students how you articulate that. Can you talk about like how Citadel would communicate that? Because that's their job, right? They're in those leadership roles and they're part of that program, like how that might be valuable with you.
Sure. So I would say, especially for entry-level positions, having that kind of leadership experience and, what you've learned in class and on group projects, our managers definitely look for that in their entry-level hiring. So, work with your career center to put all the specifics, because I do have some hiring managers for ELTP who are Citadel graduates. So they're probably going to be a little bit more familiar, with the curriculum and everything. But, just assume that whoever's looking at your resume is not familiar with the Citadel. So, put as much detail as you can around what you've done from a leadership perspective, both in class and on projects. And then if there's any, I guess, like technologies that you've used as part of that, I'm not sure, curriculum wise, like if you use, any kind of like lead or project management methodologies or, technologies like Microsoft Project or Visio or, anything like that, PowerPoint, just make sure all of that is on your resume. And if you've done, given stand-up presentations to groups or classes, I would put that on your resume too, just because a lot of interns and entry-level people can be kind of apprehensive about having to do that. And that is something that we look for because we're a very team-oriented environment. So you're going to be in meetings a lot, most of them virtual now, but where you're going to have to feel comfortable presenting. So having those kinds of skills is great as well.
And Paige, I had a question for you, and I can't remember if it was Noah or Jonah that asked, and they're saying, you look at the resumes, right? Can you talk about at what point you look at the resumes and maybe the ATS and what that means and how students get through the ATS to you so you actually do look at the resumes?
Yeah. So the one thing at Blue Cross is we look at all resumes. We don't have an applicant tracking system that just not like if it doesn't have the certain things that we're looking for, it knocks you out. I look at all resumes. I look first, you do have to attach your transcript. It can be an unofficial copy. So that I look at those people first that have followed the instructions and have attached their transcripts. They get passed first. I don't look at GPAs as much because I don't know what else you might have going on in your day-to-day activities. So I look at the extracurricular activities. If you're a leader, if I know y'all have a lot of different, I know you just had like the sword things this past week, and our intern from this past summer was actually in that. So I look for things like that just to see, how well-rounded you are. And I know that y'all are definitely team oriented. So I look at that too. So I'm not really looking for experience per se, because I know you're not probably going to have it in the field that we're looking for. I'm looking more to see how well-rounded you are.
And then also, like we said earlier, make sure you do put your major on your resume because, with our positions, a lot of them are major specific, especially on the technical side. So put your major, put your anticipated graduation date, because like for me, that makes a difference on whether or not you'd be eligible for our summer internships versus ELTP. So make sure you include that on your resume as well. And then, anything, and again, work with the career services to make sure that, you're looking at the job description and tailoring your resume to that before you apply to companies, and really make sure resumes stand out. And it can just be as simple as like maybe moving the bullet points that relate to that position to the top of, that section within your resume.
That is awesome advice. All right, we have a few more moments for any questions. We've recorded this, by the way.
Great.
So I know a couple of my staff members couldn't be present because we're also hosting an event on campus with the FBI. However, This is going to be so helpful for us to also present in classes, like when we're doing our resume workshop in classes. So your faces will get a little more time there. For the students that want Angie and Paige's contact information, we're also recording this. It'll be uploaded to the Career Center's YouTube channel by the end of the day. And so we'll share that with y'all as well.
Great.
And Paige and Angie, we really appreciate your time. This is so helpful. It's helpful for us to hear as well, just as a staff, so we can know how to best help students apply. And y'all have been such great and supportive recruiters of Citadel students. And we hope to get some more in the door. I'm going to make sure I share this with our computer science faculty as well to get this YouTube video out.
Great. Thank you.
Awesome. Yeah. Thank you for having us.
All right. I'm going to stop.